When a organization that is known for doing smart things, that has a extensive track record on good moves, when they do something that is questionable, it really, I'm not going to say red sirens start flashing, but it's really noticeable. Now, what I'm obviously talking about is the Spurs giving De'Aaron Fox a 4-year, $229 million max extension. A lot of this is going to sound like hate. I know it is, but I'm just being honest, and obviously this is my opinion. I think De'Aaron Fox is a good player. I think what De'Aaron Fox brings to a basketball team is a lot more positive than negative. In fact, I'll go as far as saying that De'Aaron Fox, his skill set, his offensive repertoire is important for a team like the San Antonio Spurs. But there is no universe, in my opinion, especially after everything we've seen. There's no way that I would consider De'Aaron Fox a max player. The fact that he doesn't play much defense, and even, and I hear that because there are players like Luka Doncic. He signed his extension. We'll talk about that in a second. You know, people like Steph Curry may not play the greatest of defenses, but players like that, their scoring output much outweighs the fact that you may not be the best defender. The prime example of that is Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard really has never really been that much of a defender, but the fact that he's one of the best offensive guards we've seen makes up for the fact of he doesn't play much defense, same as Luka. De'Aaron Fox is not on that list. De'Aaron Fox's offense does not, I know he won Clutch Player of the Year a couple years ago, but I don't think anyone would consider him a top-tier offensive guard. Nobody would consider him a top-tier defensive guard. So if you're not top tier, if you're not top 5, top 3 in either defense or offense, why would you give that player a max extension? On top of that, some of the weaknesses that De'Aaron Fox has on the floor is glaring. And I know that he was a big acquisition last year, but what has he done to prove that he is a max player? Because honestly, to this point, I haven't seen it. To this point, he's not a max player in my opinion. He's a good player. That's the thing. I think he's a good player. I think he has great attributes, but I think he's just a good player. I don't think if you bring De'Aaron Fox to a team, you're an automatic championship caliber team. I really don't even think if you bring De'Aaron Fox to the team, you're necessarily a playoff team in the sense of if you weren't a playoff team before De'Aaron Fox, I don't think he just turns you into a playoff team. He's not even the best player on the Spurs, which is going to kind of bleed into my next point. But it's like I said, when an organization that is known for making smart moves, and I'm not calling this a dumb move because there could be things at play that I don't see. But you're talking about an organization that has been somewhat rigid, but in a good way, on how they do business. An organization that has done great business with Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. The only time you really saw cracks in their business, honestly, was with Kawhi Leonard, but that was more of a personal thing. The Spurs organization has a reputation of being one of those franchises that is going to do right by their players, and on top of that is going to do what's best for the organization. While yes, they did right by De'Aaron Fox, it's like, again, I don't think there's any metric out. If you look at speed, if we're giving speed max contracts, then yes, De'Aaron Fox is a max contract player. I think he's one of, if not the fastest player in basketball. But it's like, what metric are you looking at to say that De'Aaron Fox is a max contract player? Because I don't see it. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe, you can trade him. This contract damn near makes it impossible to trade him, at least for the next few years. Because I don't know many teams that's not only going to take on De'Aaron Fox as a max contract player, but I don't know many teams that's going to have a max, like a slot for him because of how much he cost. It's baffling to me that they gave him this contract. Again, I'm all for people getting paid. I feel like I have to say this almost every time there's a contract talk. I'm all for players getting paid. And I'm all for players getting paid what they feel they're worth. And obviously, De'Aaron Fox and his representation felt he was worth the max contract extension. My thing is, I can't walk into an organization. I can't walk into, YouTube. I can't walk into Google and saying, I'm worth $100 million and have no data to back up me saying I'm worth $100 million. Now, if they want to go ahead and pay me that, cool. But there's no data right now saying I could feel that I'm worth $100 million, but there's no data that backs that up. I don't know the data that backs up De'Aaron Fox. That's the thing. I did a quick, when I was doing research and when I was compiling this show, I did a quick top 10. I did a quick, who are the top 10 guards in the league? And what was even more staggering to me is how many people I got to before I got to De'Aaron Fox. Because no particular order, I don't think De'Aaron Fox is better than Jalen Brunson. I don't think De'Aaron Fox is better than Donovan Mitchell. Well, if you want to call Donovan Mitchell a shooting guard, I don't know if he's better than Darius Garland. I don't think he's better than Cade Cunningham. I don't think he's better than Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think he's better than Damian Lillard. I don't think he's better than Trae Young. I don't think he's better than Luka Doncic. I don't think he's better than Ja Morant. I don't think he's better than Steph Curry. I don't think he's better than James Harden. I don't think he's better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. How many was that before you think, oh, well, okay, then there he goes, And if you can say that about that many people, is that person really a max contract player? It's, again, man, it's just confusing to me. Which brings me to my next point. The Spurs are also known to be really good drafters. They're known to really hit on the draft. Even though it was a draft day trade, they got Kawhi Leonard. They drafted the Admiral. They drafted Mount Ginobili. They drafted Tim Duncan. They drafted someone like Danny Green. Like they're known for hitting on these draft picks or making great draft day trades. And that sentiment is further proven by them getting Dylan Harper and having Stephon Castle, who won Rookie of the Year last year. What we know about Dylan Harper that we saw in college and we saw in his limited time in the summer league is he thrives with the ball in his hand. You're getting the most return for your money when Dylan Harper has the ball in his hand. On top of that, Stephon Castle is the same way. He thrives with the ball in his hand. He thrives with making decisions for the team with the ball in his hand. I don't understand why you paid De'Aaron Fox, who plays the same exact position as both. You already had an issue in figuring out how you're going to maximize both Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle. Because me personally, I think Dylan Harper has to start right away. I don't think that the Spurs are a championship caliber team. I think they have good players. Obviously, you have Wemby, but I don't think they're a championship caliber team. Maybe if they would have got KD, that would have been different, but they didn't. So I don't think you're a champion. You're a very young team. It's, in my opinion, this year is about development. This year is about, okay, we're not going to win a championship. Let's get to another level with Wemby. Let's get to another level with Dylan Harper. Let's get to another level with Stephon Castle. Why did you sign De'Aaron Fox, who plays the same position as Harper, who plays the same position as Castle, and needs the ball in his hand? And on top of that, you gave him a 4-year deal, so it's going to bleed into their contracts. And De'Aaron Fox does not play well without the ball in his hand. He's not good at being an off-ball player. We've seen it. That has been proven. So I just don't understand the play. Again, if you're doing this to trade him, cool, but I don't know how you're going to trade him with that contract now, at least right now. And then you're taking away from touches from a Dylan. If you think, the only way I justify this contract is if you think that a team that you're not going to play Dylan Harper that much. That's one. And two, a team that has De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and Victor Wembanyama is a championship caliber team. I don't agree with either one. So it's like, I'm all for someone getting their money, but I just don't. It seems like a very, very head-scratching decision. Because this doesn't just have implications for next year. This is, in my opinion, this stunts two very promising. I'm not going to say automatically, but this could stunt two very promising players. It could stunt their growth in Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle because, again, you have three players that virtually play sort of the same way. And one of them is making considerably more in De'Aaron Fox, so he's going to expect to be the lead honcho. And it's just like, again, if you're not going to be a championship caliber team next year, which I don't believe you are, this should be a year of development. This should be a year of, okay, let's get as many reps as we can with Dylan Harper. Let's get as many reps as we can with Stephon Castle, who just won Rookie of the Year. I'm not saying you don't play De'Aaron Fox. I'm saying you don't pay him $229 million for 4 years. Because he has not shown the ability to play off the ball. So it's like, what are you doing? Look, man. again, I'm not here saying that. I'm not here saying De'Aaron Fox is a bad player. I'm also not saying that he didn't. Like, I'm happy for him for getting his money. What I'm saying is that this doesn't make any sense, in my opinion, for the Spurs. Like, at all. It doesn't make any sense in the present. It doesn't make any sense for the future. Maybe you just did this because you're a good organization. You had a wink deal, cool. But a wink deal shouldn't. And I'm not saying it will, but it could derail the future of this team. At least the present future, because I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know how, because you can't have a max contract player come off the bench. And Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle are going to have to figure out how to play alongside someone like a Victor Wembanyama. That should be present on the Spurs' mind, not, we got to figure out how to integrate all three with no. Because neither one of those players, Dylan Harper didn't do it in college. Stephon Castle definitely didn't do it last year. Stephon Castle might be the best out of the three as far as playing off the ball. But I don't know. But congratulations to De'Aaron Fox for getting a max contract extension. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.